Age had caught up with the rancher. Where golden wheat once colored his hair, silver now crept through, and the harsh sun had carved furrows across his skin. His home sat nestled where the hills began, in a place where vegetation struggled and wild dogs sang their eerie songs after dark. Days passed with only livestock for company. Sipping his evening brew beside the flames, he'd sometimes question how long isolation could last before a person lost their ability to communicate altogether 2 decades earlier. He'd been someone else entirely, vision like a hawk, lightning reflexes, commanding in the saddle. During that time, when conflict erupted between homesteaders and Apache tribes, destiny put him to the test. He'd come across a settlement engulfed in flames, black smoke blanketing the terrain. Through the pandemonium, he discovered a young Apache child concealed under a cart, her small frame shaking violently, terror flooding her coal-black eyes. The memory remained vivid, how she gripped him desperately, her crying smothered into his chest while gunfire exploded and voices shrieked everywhere. Defying protocol and ignoring consequences, he transported her to safety, placing her where her tribe would discover her. Then he disappeared, their paths never crossing again. That moment lingered in his mind like something half-remembered from a dream. Certain nights brought him awake suddenly, imaginary smoke filling his senses, her terrified cries for her mother echoing through imagined inferno. Her ultimate fate remained unknown to him. His only hope was that she'd survived. One springtime dusk, while repairing his property boundary, hoofbeats reached his ears. Initially dismissing it as a wandering traveler, he noticed the rhythm intensifying, purposeful, and unwavering. He pivoted, fingers instinctively touching the weapon at his waist. From the diminishing light emerged a rider posture erect, confidence radiating, her flowing hair woven with crimson fabric, her leather garment adorned with traditional Apache designs. She dismounted silently, her penetrating gaze locked onto him with an intensity he hadn't witnessed in decades. Her words, when they came, blended tenderness with unwavering resolve. "Rancher," she declared, voice solid as bedrock, "I've journeyed here to become your wife." He stared, certain his ears deceived him. "Pardon?" His throat rasped from lack of use. She raised her head higher. "I'm the child whose life you spared 20 years past. They labeled me as lost, yet you ensured I was found. You rescued me from flames when others wouldn't. You restored my existence. And now," she hesitated, the dying light casting her features in amber, "I've come to offer you mine in return." His breathing faltered. He examined her carefully, matured now, yet those same penetrating eyes that once peered up at him from beneath that wagon, that same inner fortitude now refined into the grace of womanhood. Emotion swelled within him, ancient recollections rising like floodwaters. "I never anticipated," he started, but language abandoned him. What he recognized in her expression wasn't a child's thankfulness. This was a woman making a sacred commitment, for the first time in 20 years. His ranch's quietness shattered not from nature's elements or animal calls, but from fate itself arriving at his doorstep. The rancher remained motionless beside his fence, still clutching the wire, uncertain whether to laugh, protest, or collapse in shock. 20 years of solitude ended with one declaration, and he wasn't prepared for its magnitude. "You can't be serious," he finally whispered, tone barely audible, almost begging her to reconsider. "I simply acted when action was needed." "Your life isn't mine to claim, young woman?" She refused, her braids dancing across her back. "You're mistaken. Our traditions teach that whoever guides you through flames becomes bound to you. As a child, I vowed to locate the rancher who rescued me. Every year since, I've carried that oath. Now I've arrived." His throat constricted. Her eyes blazed with determination, unnerving him more than any weapon could. He'd existed too long surrounded by phantoms of battle, departed companions, aspirations buried beneath earth. Marriage had never seemed possible for him, especially not to someone arriving with promises forged in youth. "Surely you have kin, a community," he said roughly, though his voice trembled. "They won't accept this." "They're aware," she answered, unwavering. "Some attempted prevention. Others called me reckless. But my journey is mine alone." I traversed desert and ravine for weeks. My feet cracked and bled. My mount nearly collapsed. Yet here I stand. Do you imagine I'd travel such distances only to face rejection? Her declaration hit him forcefully. He noticed the journey's evidence clinging to her clothing, the hardened skin on her palms, the exhaustion in her tone. This wasn't impulsive. This carried years of accumulated purpose. The rancher turned away, watching the mountains where daylight faded, staining the heavens crimson. The townspeople will gossip, he mumbled. Gossip never stops. A settler rancher with an Apache partner? They'll disapprove. Men will show contempt, perhaps worse. Allow them, she responded, jaw set firmly. They cannot comprehend our connection. They weren't there when fire forged this vow. Should they show contempt, I'll stand prouder. Should they harbor hatred, I won't yield. My soul answers to no one but myself. Her declaration made his heart constrict, equal parts admiration and apprehension. He understood she hadn't come seeking approval. She'd come to take what she believed rightfully belonged to her. And despite feeling inadequate, something buried within him craved precisely what she presented: companionship through the quietness. Someone to dispel the void. He attempted speaking, but words wouldn't form. All he managed was gazing at her, and within her eyes he saw not the frightened child who'd clung to him in panic, but someone who'd crossed temporal and physical deserts to honor her promise. In that moment, he understood that fate wasn't something anyone could outrun, regardless of how swiftly they rode.